Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. I'm your host Mark Kearns with you once again on the Shite Talk podcast show. Episode 132.
Yeah.
Always joined by Ken Riley.
Yeah. 132 part 2.
Yeah, so and we missed last week's episode.
Yeah.
And it's really surprised because we managed to put out an episode every for the 3 weeks that I was in Australia.
Yeah, managed to.
And then I come home.
And we fuck it up.
We weren't able to put out a show.
Yeah.
So, obviously we had audio problems put up on social that we weren't able to record.
Yeah, I think the computer might have coronavirus.
Yeah, the computer have coronavirus. We don't have coronavirus.
No. It's okay now.
Yeah, it's
we had it in isolation.
We had it in isolation. Fine. We had a doctor look at it, stuck something up its USB. So it came back negative. But,
yes, yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah, so we couldn't have a show. We did stick up a clip online about banana farts. So check that out. It's on our Facebook page and YouTube. We have it's like a 6-minute clip. It was literally the only bit of audio that from that show that that actually could survive. Yeah, and it was disappointing that we couldn't put out a show last week. Ken was going to Iceland the day after, so we hadn't had the chance to actually record a second half.
Yeah, we're a bit tight.
Yeah, but he had his little holiday.
Yeah, I'm back
refreshed. The show didn't go out, but we'll move on. Plenty of times while you're quarantining yourselves over the next few months.
Yeah, to listen to the
Shite Talk podcast show. So the only thing in terms of our podcast, that's what I was thinking about. If the worst happens, one of us gets coronavirus.
Yeah. Or
one of just in case the country shuts down and we can't actually travel. It goes China level of which actually might happen. We might be in a situation where you're only able to go to the shops and then back from the shops.
Yeah. Should we do it over the phone or something?
Yeah, so I think that's the trick. Some radio stations were testing.
They're doing that this morning.
On where?
On radio.
On radio, they're testing from doing it from home. I
don't know if I can mention the station or not, but
you can.
Yeah, Radio Nova are doing it this morning.
Oh, Radio Nova. Yeah, Today FM have already done it. So they had they have 2 presenters called Dermot and Dave.
Yeah.
And both of them presented from their individual houses. And they had guests on. So they had a nightmare because if you listen to early podcasts of the Shite Talk podcast show, it's me interviewing people over the phone. And one of the things that you don't get when you're not sitting in a room with a person is visual cues of when the person's about to stop speaking. So either you have to try to preempt when they're going to start talking. So there's bits where they pause and then continue and you try to talk over and there's this awkward kind of negotiation who gets to talk. Or there's this a second or two pause while you're waiting to see if the person's actually going to talk. And both of you are terrified of filling in dead air because you're either on live on radio or you're recording a podcast. Yeah. So he's both trying to rush back in. So it's just really hard in order to try to predict audio. And they had to sync up. So their music was played from studio. So someone was in the studio playing the music. So they don't get visual cues when the lads are going to finish talking. They hit play on a song. So it's that doing radio from your room unless the DJ has a selection of music or they're just by themselves. It's super hard.
It'd be tough. Yeah,
it's gonna be really really hard. So that's really, really interesting. What happens if quarantine happens?
It's Nova are doing it. Obviously, Colm and Lucy, so she has small kids.
Yeah.
So obviously schools are closed, so she's at home, but Colm's in studio.
Yeah, Colm's in studio. Yeah.
So they're doing it that way.
Yeah, well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
That probably will have to happen for the next few weeks. Because she is mum, she's like load of kids.
Yeah, she is a heap of kids.
Yeah, so like that's a nightmare for her. And that's like one of the big things of like the coronavirus. We were kind of talking about this off air, if it was a good idea or a bad idea to close schools.
Yeah.
And you were kind of saying that like you don't think it's a great idea.
Like, it is and it isn't, but like, your man, like, I was listening to Joe Rogan podcast, and he had, I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah,
like,
the
he
doctor
studies diseases
yeah,
and stuff like, and he's saying it's a terrible idea because kids can be carriers without actually having symptoms or being affected. So then they'll infect their parents.
Yeah.
And then obviously, so some parents are still going to have to go to work.
Yeah.
So then them parents are infecting their workplaces, but the kids will have no symptoms.
See, there's
kind of in the similar way that like hepatitis A.
Yeah. Kids can carry
it, but they can't catch it.
But they know that like the teachers or the minders and the parents all catch it, but the kids are fine. But all of them are positive. Yeah, he was saying that. Well, I was kind of thinking that. It's like after I heard that podcast, I came to the same conclusion as you did, that it would be a bad idea to close schools. Except I was kind of thinking about it for the next over the last few days, and it came like a lot of nurses and doctors have kids, and a lot of nurses and nurses are married to guards. That's just a fact.
Yeah, it's just a thing. Like,
I'm joking at this stage. I know at least 3 families where the mom's a nurse, the dad's a guard. So like having kids off school will puts kind of a lot of resources on our emergency services, because both parents are really needed for society. However, the moms are going into a really highly infectious workplace, which is a hospital, which have corona patient victims in there. The nurses have caught coronavirus, but there's a 4-day waiting period before they actually show symptoms. Like, they could go home, infect their kids. The kids won't show any symptoms. Mom for 4 days won't show any symptoms. The kid will then go in school and possibly infect the entire class, and then they go from their class infect all the other families before the mom shows any symptoms. So in terms of that, like they think it's like highly infectious within the 4 days that you don't show any symptoms still. So like you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. Like if you to have the kids off school, which they did, you put resources. The parents who are working in hospitals are now going to have to be under pressure to get their kids mind somehow and to be able to go into work.
Yeah, because it's like it's going to be impossible. Like childcare, everything's closed. So like if, like you said, a situation where you've got like one parent's a nurse, one parent's a guard.
Yeah.
So which one stays home to mind the kids?
Yeah, exactly. Who wants kids? Like if they live, like if they're a nurse or a guard who lived up the country, like let's say Galway, for instance, and they're working down in Dublin, as a nurse and a guard, their parents aren't anywhere nearby to mind their kids. I know there's going to probably be other parents around. Maybe one of the parents in the States will actually mind the kids for them while they're in work.
Yeah.
Then there still is a huge risk of contamination. Ideally, you'd have to have the kids separated from the parents who work on frontline services. Ideally.
Yeah, but like that's not practical.
That's not going to happen. Like if you have a little child. Yeah,
like you have a 3 or a 4-year-old.
Yeah, you're not
like you can't see your mummy or daddy for 2 weeks. Sorry,
it won't be even 2 weeks. It'll be like this is going on for months. So like, yeah, it's kind of fucking a little bit fucked that way. That like the kids are like closing school. I can see why the government did it. Like I go back and forth if it's a good idea or a bad idea. Some experts say it's a bad idea. Government obviously and their experts think it's a good idea. So
yeah, like I'm up in the air about it. I just think like if kids aren't carriers, like it's just kind of
they are carriers.
Oh, like if kids can't be infected, like if they're like
they can be infected.
The chances of them being infected are extremely lower than
they can be infected, like. But infected like they can carry disease. They're super carriers, but like they're not actually good. They don't actually get sick that often. Some do, but generally they don't get sick. But it's the fact that they make they can make their parents sick, they can make
Yeah.
their grandparents sick, which
Like, I know you could argue that a kid who's a carrier is going to make the parents sick anyway.
yeah.
But if you're increasing the amount of time that the parent is spending with the child, you're increasing the chances of the parent catching it.
Well, if the kid's isolated from other kids who could spread it to them.
Yeah. But like, if the kid is carrying it anyway.
Yeah, well, in that case, if the kid's carrying the whole family, no matter how little time you spend with your parents, they're going to catch it. It's in the air.
Yeah.
Like being in the room for, I think, 15 minutes, you're going to give the kid.
Apparently, particles stay in the air for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it's they found that it's like a tenth the size of a pollen particle or something.
Yeah,
like it'll hang in the air for like 3 hours.
And I think that's the big problem. Now, that doctor also kind of said, well, there's closing schools. Yeah, you can try to delay, but like at the end of the day, what's going to happen is if there's a third person in this room and two of us had the coronavirus, or two of us already had the coronavirus, then there's only one chance of one person getting the coronavirus. What will happen is this is going to go across the world, and a lot of people are going to get sick and catch the coronavirus, but the people who survive are going to hopefully build up immunity to this, and then not get sick after that. But it could be one of these diseases that you can catch multiple times. Like there's
very unsure about that. Yeah,
they're not too sure if you can catch it multiple times. Like a vaccine, like they don't have a vaccine for SARS, and that's a different form of coronavirus. So like that's kind of worrying. Another thing that's really, really affected is a lot of gyms and clubs have closed down.
Yeah.
And like I can see why a gym would close down. If you're sweating all over gym equipment and someone comes along and picks it up and you're not symptomatic, or you think, I just have a cough. I've been smoking a bit much. This is probably just smoker's cough, and you ignore the symptoms so far.
A lot of people in gyms would, obviously you're working out, they'd be breathing heavy. So somebody coughs and everybody around them is breathing heavy, you're going to breathe in them germs. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea, but gyms like that, and there's just certain jobs. I remember a comedian put up is anyone else thinking about doing makeup tutorials online? In terms of trying to look for other jobs, but gyms are being hit hard. Another thing that's people are gone insane around the world in shopping centers.
Yeah,
and I think it's the stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because shops are still getting deliveries.
Yeah.
The government have actually guaranteed that. They have contacted the heads of the different retail chains in the country and have said, whatever help you need to get your delivery from your depot to your stores, let us know and it'll happen. Whatever you need to get whatever supplies you have that are short from out of the country into the country, let us know and it'll happen.
Yeah, so all the supply chains are remaining.
Supply chain is guaranteed. They've set aside, what is it, 3 billion or something for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
just to guarantee the supply chain.
I'm sure a lot of this, a lot of the warehouses that stock food are stockpiling, as I say, they're all right themselves.
They were already a few chains have already said that they are stockpiling since before Brexit because the uncertainty to do with Brexit.
Yeah.
So they've got tons of shit.
Yeah, well, see, but the thing is, government has already said, stop panic buying. Stop buying, 1,000 bog roll. Bog roll is a weird one. Why?
Bog roll is a weird one. I think,
and milk is another one. Milk goes off really quick.
And bread. Milk and bread are two things. They were the first two things that selling out in shops yesterday. Milk and bread. Then bog roll. Bog roll has been sold out for nearly a week.
Yeah.
And I think the reason behind that is because people... they're saying if you have to go into self-isolation, you have to stay in isolation for 14 days.
Yeah.
I think people are literally going, well, that's it. I'm going to sit in this room for fucking 14 days.
Well, that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to have
Yeah, but I'm going to need 75 rolls of toilet roll.
No, if you have to go into self-isolation, for 2 weeks. Like, maybe two bog rolls you'll need for that entire week. The fact that you're going to go through
2 rolls?
Yeah, surely. Like, you shit maybe once, twice a day.
Oh, I shit a lot.
Okay. You need 4 rolls. But average people need 2. 4 rolls of bog roll. You shouldn't be going through 2 a week. Okay.
It could be a little bit more.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I'm actually...
But I think that's what it is. Like you take a family that has, say it's just like average family, like mom, dad, 2 kids.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what they're doing. They're just bulk buying so that if the house has to go into isolation... Like, you can already see in China, like when China went into isolation, they said 1 person from your house can leave every 3 days to go to the shop to get supplies.
Yeah.
So, like, if they were doing that here, you still don't need your 72 rolls of bog roll. You run out of it. Like, if you're in quarantine from the Monday, on Wednesday, somebody can take the 5-minute trip to the shop to get bog roll.
Yeah, exactly. And you can get whatever you need there.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And another thing was, like, in certain shops around the country, there were 2-hour delays, there were fights.
Yeah.
There was mayhem on the stores, and I can kind of understand people being frightened, people panic buying. I can't understand that people haven't figured out that you can actually do your shopping online, and you can actually you can buy all your stuff online, pay for it, and go and collect. There's, like, you don't have to go around shopping. You can just go. There's a person, someone will even put it in your car if you ask them nice, so you can charge them a few quid. And even if that's too much for you, even if you don't have pick and collect, there's delivery trucks. People actually deliver your food for a very, very low price to your house. Like, why are you panic buying? Go online, do your shopping. It'll be delivered to your house. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but the next day you will have your food. If that food is coming to you, you've paid for it.
I think part of that, like, I was looking at this stuff online. Like, people were complaining. We were talking a little bit off air about this.
Yeah.
Like, people were complaining that delivery drivers were, like, just leaving stuff at the front door and ringing the doorbell and stuff, because obviously there's a worldwide shortage on, like, hand sanitizer at the minute.
Yeah, well, I have rolls of it.
Yeah, but you know, like
we stockpile that.
You probably shouldn't say that. You know, like,
oh no, like the industry that we work in, we have to have sanitizers for cleaning.
Yeah, so like, you know, like there is like a general world, like people are going in and fucking robbing it out of hospitals. So the drivers like are a bit kind of cautious about going into people's houses.
Yeah.
So they're like leaving stuff on doors. So people are complaining about this, but people are also complaining. And this would add to the 2 and 3 hour queues. People are complaining that there's no available delivery slots.
I noticed, because I actually do get my food delivered, and I noticed that one of the days we're full. Now the next day, the following day, was grand. So I ordered. I think it was on a Tuesday. I had ordered on a Tuesday, and ordered on a Monday, and I wanted to deliver Tuesday, but Tuesday was fully booked. But Wednesday was grand.
Yeah.
Now, there's possibility where there's another kind of like other counties it's more, but I don't imagine the full week is booked out. And even
I'd say maybe some parts of Dublin, and.
But like even if you bought it for the following week, even if you booked for let's say you go, all right, I'm gonna have this delivered Monday next week, and at least then I know all I need to buy now in the shop. I can go to a small little supermarket, a smaller shop. All I need to buy now is stuff to get me till Monday, and then Monday my shopping will be delivered.
You see, that's where people aren't like listening to the government though, because people are probably panicking. So they've closed schools on Thursday, or from today, like they've closed schools. But then people are like panicking, not listening to the fact that shops, like supermarkets, and pharmacies are going to remain open.
Italy.
But people aren't listening. People are going like, they're going to just shut down everything. So if I order my food to arrive next week, they're going to just shut down the shop. It's not going to come. But it is going to arrive.
Don't worry about that.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. So like, I just don't. Yeah, I don't understand. Italy, like, it's in lockdown, and they're able to go to the shops. Like, there's a guy said that you're able to walk to the shops and walk back. You get questioned where you go and what you're going there for, but you're able to go. Yeah, like, so like, I think I don't really understand it too much. And while we were talking about it, Trump He's kind of, I guess he's been a little bit Trump, because first of all, he announced that like all European places, he's cancelling all flights from Europe. So
it's from that section of Europe that are under
Schengen, Schengen region. Now, but like he announced it all Europe because he doesn't know Europe. He doesn't know anything about the EU. He knows very little about European politics. So he just says all flights to Europe, and he started bashing Europe. Like, little did he know, he probably must have forgot that the Irish Taoiseach was like literally
in the next room.
Is actually staying in like the hotel, the government-owned hotel, across the road from the White House because it's St. Patrick's Day, and Ireland wasn't involved in that. So instead of like, you know, reassuring, it goes, oh, all the mainland European countries get fucked. But like UK and Ireland. And then he like the markets, because of the coronavirus, markets are taking huge hits. So you think like you need a president and you need like world leaders to kind of calm the markets down, reassure them that like, you know, supply chains will remain open, business is going to keep going. We're going to do our best to make sure the markets are safe. Trump goes, we're banning all goods from Europe as well. So no, we're not letting goods in or out of America from Europe. So then the markets fucking overreacted, and like, God love the people underneath him. God love the Republican parties that have to deal with him, because they're literally just putting out fires. Every time he goes on Twitter, they have to put out a massive fire. So first of all, when he said Europeans are all Europeans are banned, apart from the UK, someone had to come along and say, no, actually, Ireland's actually grand. We're going to have flights from Ireland because they're not in the Schengen region of Europe. That might change, but right now, flights from Ireland are alright. And then he's like, no, we're definitely not banning all like goods from Europe. You can send your goods to Europe and we will import goods from Europe. That's still okay. So like, and then he was going to your story that you came up with.
Yeah, he was, I don't know if it was before the press conference where he announced the travel ban, or if it was just a general one where he was talking about coronavirus, but he got caught with a live mic incident. Or a hot mic. Yeah. So when the testing screen like was coming up just before the presidential address, he said, "Oh fuck! Like there's a stain on the front of my shirt or something." And there's a clip of it running around somewhere. If I can find it, we'll post it up.
But like I like that'll happen to anybody. Like, but
it's just funny because
it's probably a McDonald's. A McDonald's stain. Like, but like. You're saying he's like really paranoid. He's shaking everybody's hand. He's like, oh, I'm going to shake people's hand. It's a presidential thing to do.
There's like
that's not great advice to give to people.
There's like a White House like leak, and I don't know how true it is, but apparently he's like publicly he's all like, you know, oh, I'm not scared of it. I'm going to continue shaking hands. I'm not doing the shaking elbows thing. Just continue shaking hands. Yeah. But like in private, he's fucking terrified.
But like the thing is,
because he's supposed to be like extremely germophobic.
Yeah, but he's high risk. He's fat and old. Like he is literally the danger zone. Like he should be in self isolation. Like he should not be maybe like in crowds of more than 100.
He probably pretty much is in isolation though, when you think about it.
Well, yeah, I say like he has like anytime he walks outside, he has bodyguards. He has then other people that are meant to like be the one to tell him what to say, which he probably fucking ignores. And then he goes up on stage, and there's people like maybe 100, maybe 50, not even 50 yards. It'd be like there'd be less than 10 feet away from him in the crowd cheering Trump. And like so like. He's always in gatherings of at least 20, I'd say. I'd say there's very few times in his day where there's less than 20 people around him.
Yeah, like they're all like heavily fucking vetted and stuff. Like, they're definitely nobody's getting.
Eventually, they're going to have to go home. Yeah, and go back to Like so, I can understand, but he should be like obviously lying low, and he shouldn't be telling people not to shake hands, and he probably shouldn't be shaking other people's hands.
Did you see there's a university in England doing drive-through testing?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like you can drive up and there's two lads in hazmats, like they stick the little swab up your nose and.
Oh yeah. There's actually that's in Korea.
You're doing it in Korea as well, right?
Yeah, they have drive-through testing in Korea. And because I remember some American talk show hosts, and they're like, we love drive-thrus. And he's like saying, we have drive-through like all this, and you have drive-through therapists. Just feel better about yourself.
That's crazy. Like,
but like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. If you have a large population, like, it's a good way of quarantining yourself. Like, you're in your own car. You don't have to get out and wait in queue. You're waiting in your car.
Yeah.
You have your windows up. You're kind of self-isolated there. It makes sense, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's just mad though to think that they're doing like, medical testing in a drive-thru.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Well, like, it does make sense. Now, people are acting weird all over the world, because one of my stories that I have this week is about a man who was arrested. I think he's living in Brussels. And he was wearing one of these hazmat masks in public that people are wearing, because it's now a fashion statement apparently. And he pulled it down, licked his hand, and then put it back on the handrail. People are always videoing your public transport, so let's just get used to that. And someone obviously seen what he was doing, was recording him while he was doing it, and basically he's been arrested. He's been caught. Someone has identified who he was, and he's been arrested for it. So yeah.
Like, what would you be charged with?
Public endangerment. It depends. Like, if he was seen to be possibly have the coronavirus, and he was wiping it on around public, that could be it. Like, or possibly inciting violence or inciting trouble. They're disturbing the peace. Don't like, if the guards want to arrest you, if any police force wants to arrest you, they will give you a cock and bull story, and they'll arrest you for that cock and bull story.
There'll need to be some sort of evidence to back it up.
You know, if you were ever doing anything wrong in a car, or even if you're not, the guards will pull you over and they'll say, you're being arrested for undue care and attention.
Yeah, but you'll have to have done something.
Well, have you changed radio station? Well, if you're changing radio station, you're not paying attention to the road. Undue care and attention.
Yeah.
So, like,
that's why steering wheels come with the little things on them now.
Oh, they're worse, because you have to figure out that thing. You have to memorize that thing. If it's not memorized in your head, you have to stare at the wheel. You know, trying to like set cruise control. That's the most dangerous thing you'll do in a car.
I've never used the cruise control in my car.
It's so much better. Life is better when you say.
I've never used it.
Man, you should use it. Like, seriously, you feel like, I thought it was the most dumbest thing ever. Like, when I first heard my dad first got a car that had cruise control, I was like, oh, is the pedal too heavy for you? Are you that soft? I've really got to that point where the pushing down the pedal is too bad for you. It makes your life so much better. Like, you're just like, first of all, because you don't have to concentrate on speed. The speed is set. You've set the speed, and then you get to sit back and hold on to the steering wheel. It's just nice. It's so much more nicer.
Like, if anything, cruise control will cause you to lapse into like,
not really,
non-attention.
Because like, you're not staring at the when you're driving along, you're paying attention to the speed, or at least you should be paying attention to the speed.
You're like glancing at the speed on
every now and again. So you're constantly trying to stay under the speed limit and making sure that you don't go over the speed limit. So it just eliminates that job that you have to do, and eliminates your full having to regulate pressure. So that's just two jobs that you don't have to do. So you can concentrate on looking in the mirrors and steering the car and watching out for if cars slow down that you have to knock off cruise control. But like, it unless you like are really tired or really laid back, you're like, let's go take a nap here. Obviously, then that's dangerous. Like, if you're putting on cruise control, look at your phone. But then it's looking at your phone that's like the dangerous thing. Yeah. Cruise control changed my life. I got to.
You're too soft for the pedal.
Yeah, I am too soft for the pedal. Man, I got to the stage where I only wanted to use cruise control, no matter what the situation was. So, like, if I was coming up into heavily, I'd probably get arrested for care and detention, whatever the technical term is.
Or like, some cock and bull story.
Yeah,
you get arrested for some cock and bull story.
No, but like, I knock off cruise control, let the van slow down, knock it back on, and then as the van is going up, I set a lower speed, so I don't actually have to use pedal. It uses more. I wanted to see how far I could get just using cruise control, without actually having to step on the pedal. But yeah, for long journeys especially, or if you're just like, if you're on a motorway or a dual carriageway, probably
best.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We should go on to the rest of our stories instead of talking about cruise control and coronavirus. Because this is meant to be escapism. This is a story that we kind of forgot about last week, like the week that the podcast didn't go out. And lucky enough, because like usually if we talk about a story, even if it doesn't go out in air, apparently we do not talk about it again.
Yeah, we just kind of delete it.
You delete it because like it's kind of, you know, like people know if you have the conversation like several times, it comes like rehearsed. It doesn't go out authentic. So, Ken, what is your favorite type of skill?
I like the blackcurrant one and the red one.
Well, yeah, the red one's pretty good. Blackcurrant one's my favorite. Blackcurrant and green, the lime, are my favorite. The citrusy and the blackcurrant one are the nicest, I think, and they're the least two of most people. Like the red one's very, very popular.
The like blackcurrant one is like the least popular, apparently.
I don't know if that's true though. Like, personally,
just in our little like test there, like
100% of people like blackcurrant. Like in our little, like, definitely not scientific.
100% of 2 people like the blackcurrant one.
Which this blows this like story wide open. But there's kind of conflicting research here that says that actually they all taste the same.
Yeah.
So before this story, I have heard this before. So, but like people have actually put time and effort and money into figuring out if actually there is a difference between Skittles. So like we said, they said they all actually taste the same. So while your brain is being tricked, apparently what some researchers are saying is that your brain is actually being tricked by colours and by your association with what certain colours mean. So red is strawberry. That's just like most sweets. Pink or red is strawberry. Yellow is always lemon. Purple can be raspberries. And then brown's cola. Like generally speaking, if there's a brown sweet, it's usually cola. So your brain's expecting certain colours to taste a certain way. And in fact, all Skittles are just flavoured the exact same. And then your brain obviously makes the difference. So what they did was researchers blindfolded a test, and they found that 3 out of 5 of the times that their samples, their people around the office, are able to guess the right flavors, or able to differentiate between different types of Skittles.
Yeah.
Citrus flavored Skittles were seen to perform the best. People were definitely able to know when they had a lemon in their mouth rather than like a strawberry. There was a instant taste. So then they're like, maybe the goo is actually not flavored. And what actually is flavored is the coloring. So there's actually flavor in the colorant. Not the actual goo that the Skittle is made up of. So they went along and bit off all the colouring. Licked and bit off all the colouring. Now they didn't say whether they then themselves tested to see if the Skittles actually retain their flavour without the shell, or whether they actually gave it to their employees or the people around their office without the shell that they just licked and bit off. If this happened prior to the coronavirus, hopefully this happened prior to the coronavirus.
Or else we just found patient 0
around the UK and US. This is done in it was done cross country. Analyze this. So this is done to the UK and London and New York studios of this retail firm. I don't know, or this research firm. I don't know what the name of the researchers that did it. And so they found that although the taste was diminished, but they could still identify the differences between the different Skittles that they chewed off the colouring. So it isn't even your brain actually made it. So this has just blown this story wide open.
Yeah. So
maybe if our listeners actually would actually buy Skittles, blindfold themselves, and feed them, get someone to feed them Skittles, and see if they are able to test it, and the Shite Talk podcast show will come to their own conclusion.
Yeah, we need about 100 people to do it.
Yeah, well, we'll do it 10.
Okay, we can do it with 10.
We can do it with 10. Well, we've already 2, so that's 12.
Yeah, we need. Yeah.
I think you need 2,000 for like a proper study. We got 10.
And we could go with 100. 100 for a proper study, 10 for a Shite Talk study.
2 for or whoever's in the room.
2 for just Shite Talk facts.
Yeah, Shite Talk. The fact that we can go on there and say,
in our research, 100% of people like the blackcurrant scale.
Out of a test of 2 people, 100% like blackcurrant is the best flavor. Like that's just fact.
Yeah, it's the best skill.
Yeah, so I think another one of the stories that kind of been popped up on our feeds, you went past this and I went straight into this. So this kind of says something a little bit about our psyches as human beings. I don't know what it says about us, but there's now a dating app for men with small penises.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if this was like a men only site. So like this is a men site, but apparently no. There's women who want men with like I
read a little bit about this, and then I decided, I don't know if there's enough in it for a story. I don't know why I decided no, there's not enough in it.
There's loads. Well, there's not enough in this for a story.
Like there's people signing up to see if they qualify as having a small penis.
Yeah. People ring it up. Yeah, people. It's nice. It would be nice to be told that. No, sorry,
you're not qualified to be part of this dating site.
Too big of a penis. So, in case you are wondering, you don't want to sign up to the app or ring up somebody and ask them to have a small penis. The truth can hurt. Shite Talk's own research team has figured out what actually counts for a small penis. So if you have a penis that's less than 14 centimeters, it's considered below average.
14 centimeters?
It's below average. Now,
how big is 14 centimeters?
I think 15 centimeters is a small ruler. So you know the small ruler, you have the 30 centimeter large ruler. So it would be about that. It would be about...
Right.
That would be a little bit smaller than a small ruler.
Yeah, okay.
So like you can get like a small ruler and
baby ruler,
one of those 15 centimeters rulers, and you'll be able to like determine whether your penis is small or not.
Fair enough.
And you can sign up to an app. So if you have like, and what I thought was hilarious about the app was that they started blasting the film industry for like promoting larger penises, and they kind of went,
how?
Like, I don't know. I don't know a movie where I've actually ever seen. I think there was one movie.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, Boogie Nights where you see a man's penis.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. But like, it's not like you don't see Marvel like movies that go, yeah, you got some great big dick energy right there.
Sorry, Chris Hemsworth, you can't be Thor because
your dick
isn't big enough.
Yeah, like so he's saying society is like overemphasizing the importance of large penises, and that it's unfair to men with below average sized penises. Like, are we really that soft in society? Are we really that insecure that like we're now giving out that some lad's penis is too big and he can't be proud of a large penis, or he can't have a large penis?
How is society promoting bigger penises?
Well, they say the porn industry is swamped with lads who have above average sized penises, and that it's just unrealistic that girls are apparently going onto these porn sites and seeing these massive dongs, and like people are like overemphasizing the importance of a large penis. And yeah, really, are we really that soft? Are we really not going to be able to mention that girls prefer bigger penises?
But like when it goes to like the porn industry, so like if that's like where they're going from with it, like just basing on like general porn stars, like female porn stars, like they're all surgically enhanced. So like obviously a lot of the males possibly would be too.
Yeah, well women generally, like taking a stereotypical of a porn star, women generally have big tits, big asses, and blowjob lips. Generally speaking, that's your stereotypical porn star. Men are generally in shape of some point, and are generally will have.
Like, are these guys against gyms as well?
I don't really know. No, they're not against,
because you know, like,
but there's like fat shaming.
Society are promoting like.
Well, you know how women
be healthy.
This is generally a woman's kind of gripe about society, that fat shaming or that models that are too thin. We've heard that from women for a large amount of times, and we've heard it from certain men that complain about superheroes being like jacked up on steroids and being like unrealistically muscular, and that's
the purpose of a superhero.
That's the purpose of these people. But I never thought we'd get to a point where men are complaining about the porn industry and the film industry, which is even more weird, about complaining about larger penises. Like, are you that insecure? Like, fair enough if you have a small penis, or you're just really self-conscious about your dick size.
I still don't understand how the film industry, like just the general film industry,
they market it as the film industry and the porn industry are overemphasizing the importances. And I'm pretty sure there's probably a porn like site that has men with small penises. Like there's weird shit porn. There's like pregnant porn. Like you can look up porn with pregnant people. Like you can probably find a site that like has small penis porn.
It's just
like
fucking like what?
Like what is society coming to that like we all have to self-isolate, and people are complaining about their side that people feel like that they need a dating app that is just for small penises.
Yeah, that's obviously some sort of a like female fetish thing.
I imagine I imagine
the women that are signing up to that app like have some sort of a fetish.
Yeah, I imagine so. Like that's the thing I was wondering about. Like, do women sign up that like maybe don't care about
or
size?
are they just like women that just don't care? Yeah,
women that don't care. Maybe like, oh, these guys probably are like a little bit self-conscious, probably not that picky. You know,
probably not that picky.
they like. There's probably a goer there. There's probably someone that will take me out. Maybe you have this. Maybe it's just a site for people with low self-confidence.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's weird.
So we actually have. This actually leads on to another porn story.
Oh no.
we actually, do you know what? I didn't actually realize this until now. This is like we have a lot of porn stories.
All you looked up this week was porn stories.
Do you know out of all
Mark has been self-isolating for a week and now he's got nothing but porn stories.
All we really have is porn stories. Well, I didn't realize the dating app would lead to a porn story, but we have two other porn stories, which is a lot for a show, in fairness. So the first porn story that I had that I'll now circle back to was Steven Spielberg's daughter Michaela is thinking about going into the porn industry. Now, it had a very, very like clickbaity title on this one. So she said that she's going into porn industry, and her parents aren't surprised. They actually expected her to go into the porn industry, which seems like a weird thing.
That's a weird thing to refer to.
Imagine having a daughter and going, yeah, I could see her doing porn.
That's weird.
You might want to have a conversation with your daughter. But yeah, so she kind of explains that she's always been like, she's always been into kind of alternative forms of art, and that she's kind of would be the prime candidate, and parents wouldn't be shocked and would actually be supportive of her going into porn, which seems very, very surprising. But their parents and family probably lived in Hollywood for a long time. That kind of changes people. I'm sure they look at porn differently than maybe what we do.
Spielberg looks at it from an artistic point of view.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. He looks at it and goes, yes, I can see how my daughter could be very creative. Maybe bring a whole new light.
The cinematographer on this.
Yeah, this lighting is all wrong.
Who's the director of photography here?
This lighting is really... This flatters her arsehole in no way. This flatters her arsehole. That'd be weird.
That's completely the wrong angle.
Yeah, that's just be really weird if your dad or just your parents in general were watching your porn. Like, that'd be weird. Just in general. But anyway, it's even weirder. She doesn't tell her age, but she looks kind of young enough. She looks into her early 20s. Could be mid-20s. Could be even late 20s. I'm very bad at age.
I wonder if there's Yeah, as we're going through this, I'll try and find her age.
Yeah, trying to find her age. But her boyfriend is 47 years old, and apparently he's also supportive of the idea.
You see, that's a little bit...
That is really, really
that's
weird.
Strange.
But man, how do you have that conversation with your partner? Like, imagine you went to 18 and gone, I'm thinking about going into the porn industry.
Yeah.
She probably expected when you had a handlebar mustache. She probably was like,
I think about bringing that back.
I think Ken might be thinking about porn. I think he might be going into the porn industry. But then you grew your regular beard, and like she probably gone, oh, thank God.
Oh, the phase is over.
Phase is over. He's not becoming a porn star. So, but like, how do you have that conversation? Yeah, I'm thinking about going into porn as a director. No, as a star.
Yeah, like that. It's
like, but like he said, first of all,
weird, like.
she wanted it. He was concerned over her safety and over people taking advances to her. But once he got over that part, he was okay with it. Like, how I was like, I am not having you banging like these lads with massive dicks.
Look at the guys in this day now.
Yeah, look at this guy in this day. I'm like halfway between here and here. Like, you're gonna like after a really hard day, yeah, it's gonna look like this.
She's 24.
She's 24.
But she's not actually his daughter. She's adopted.
Yeah, she's adopted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but like he raised her. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, it's,
the sweeping statement right there.
Yeah,
you're just pissed off like a small percentage of our audience who are adopted.
Yeah, but no, like just
who have adopted kids.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know stats.
I don't know. Just
his daughter. That's what it says in the story.
She's his adopted daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have to label everything.
if you have to.
I think she's a legitimate daughter. Blood means nothing.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, but so I thought it was even weirder that like her boyfriend was like, "Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm grand. You go bang that guy.
Yeah, that's
you go make us money."
Strange, unless is he just a nobody or is he a porn star?
No, he's just a regular guy. I think
because I know like
maybe he works in Hollywood. Maybe he works to something.
The singer from Biohazard, he's married to a porn star.
Yeah.
So when they start dating, like he got into porn. He was like, "That's it. Like your on-screen partner from here on is me or a woman."
All right. It's weird how lads like will look at it like maybe she goes, "Oh, I'll only do girl on girl porn."
Yeah.
But I'm that is weird how lads are like, I'm actually cool with my wife banging another girl, but if she bangs another guy,
yeah,
it's still the
same thing.
It's still the same thing, really. I think that's the fantasy for the guy. It's like she'll bring one of her co-stars home with her just to rehearse a line or rehearse a part in the play.
Rehearsal line.
Rehearse part of a movie that they want you to help them out with. But like, yeah, it's kind of weird that her boyfriend was like, "Yeah, I'm super cool with it." I imagine that he's a super like liberal guy, and he's like, didn't want to seem like to be like, I don't want to feel like that I'm owning you or anything, but like, I really have a hard time with you getting fucked by other guys. Okay, shut my mouth. Okay, I will. So I don't know.
I don't know where you were going with that one.
So I don't know if that was the conversation that they had. But our next porn and our final porn story, you'll be happy to tell. Or happy no, maybe you're not. Maybe you just want
this week.
For this week, maybe you just want us to just cover porn. Well, imagine actually the porn. I'd love to. I can't wait till after the coronavirus, until Pornhub released some like ridiculous statistics.
People looking up like porn with hazmat suits.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see what kind of statistics they come up with, like for the coronavirus one. But this one's not actually about Pornhub. This is actually about apparently a fake taxi porn parody. So basically, allegedly, there's a guy. allegedly, there's a guy who goes around in a fake taxi, and it's all scripted. And there's actresses that are play a role of a person who either forgot their purse or want to get a free ride. It's more than one meaning of the word, and they end up having sex with the taxi driver. Now, if you're a fan of this type of porn, or if you're familiar with this porn show,
if you're a fan,
I'm sure it has fans. I'm sure there's like they actually got into trouble because they're driving through some small town in England, And obviously locals recognised the taxi because it says fake taxi on the side of the taxi, because they didn't want people actually trying to go up, ask for a cab and realise there's a person having sex in the cab and get in trouble for it.
They actually drive around the place?
They actually drive around the place, and they'll go off, like, they don't have sex on the side of the road because that's against the law. They'll go off to a like more private area so they don't get caught for like trying to shoot a porno in public and without permission by the. Anyway, but they were seen driving through the town, and people were given out, and they were given out into trouble for driving through the town. They weren't having sex in the car; they're just driving around the town. But people recognised the car and didn't want that type of porn in their town, and they got in trouble. Anyway, the original car is up for sale for the very, very, very low price of £69. Are
you going to buy it?
No. I fucking would. You'd have to pay me £69,000 to even sit in that car. Amount the fucking cum stains that are in that car. Bare asses. I'll be like just bouncing around that back seat.
Coronavirus all over it.
Oh, well, I don't know if it would have coronavirus. Like, I'm pretty sure it's probably being retired. It has 417,000 miles on the clock, and has over.
What year is it?
Don't know. Has over 2,000 unpaid customers, and one man's jizz.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's up for sale. And apparently, last year they sold a different car, but the seller has guaranteed that they're going to this car was the original car that they used, and for a low price of £69, you can own a piece of porn history in the fake taxi original. I wonder if, like, obviously this is going up for auction, so you can't just buy it. The starting bid is £69. Yeah. I'm probably hoping to get a little bit more for it. But I wonder if there is collectors of these things. Obviously, they sold the last one. So maybe the person who bought that one will have his own fake taxi porn collection.
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
Yeah, so
like people collect like movie memorabilia.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's lads out there that will collect porn memorabilia.
That's a bit weird, like.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of weird if you wanted to buy that.
Yeah.
They didn't say even if it was going to be cleaned or what. You'd hope so. But maybe there's buyers out there that would prefer it not to actually be cleaned.
And then you've got the thing as well of like, you know, there's this like running joke, or I don't know if it's a real thing or not, that like porn subscriptions come up differently on your credit card bill.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come up as what it really is, whatever. So like
that just come up. If you more than likely you'll probably pay cash. If it was £69, you'd probably
if you're one of those guys that has like a secret porn subscription on your credit card that you're hiding from everybody.
Who pays for porn, by the way?
I don't fucking know, but like if you're one of those people that does and has like a subscription on your credit card bill, and then all of a sudden you come home with this fake taxi thing, your people are going to ask questions.
I mean, like, I don't know if you park it, but maybe it's kind of like, hey, look at it, fake taxi. You know, there's a lot of car meets out there, so like I imagine that that people that you might bring into a car meet, and you know how you see like the Only Fools and Horses van, or you see like the Batman
fake
car
taxi one.
Yeah, you have the fake taxi car, and like obviously little kids won't know what it means. They're like, "What's a fake taxi?" Your wife might mean, but you'll know what it is. And people are like, take pictures in the fake taxi car. I'm pretty sure they're like, if you bought to one of these car meets, a lot of people get a lot of kick out of it. Like, in fairness, I probably wouldn't sit in it. Probably just take hey, look at this fake taxi.
You'd just be like, hey.
Fall from like 10 feet away.
Yeah. Big stick.
Yeah. No, look at it. Selfie stick. Picture of it, like wide angle lens.
No, it just seems, I don't know, weird. Like,
yeah, it's a little bit weird. Kind of like a little bit weird offshoot story of it. You could actually pay for porn to be made. So like, there's a site that like for I don't know what the price of it is, but whatever your weird fantasy is, you email them in. and you tell them like what you want in the like movie or in the whatever clip that you want to actually pay for, and they'll actually make it, and then they'll make it for you, and they'll have, you can have as much or as little detail in it as possible, and they'll then send you your own little porn like story that you made yourself. And just like, there's a really sad story. Oh yeah, sad stories are the worst. It's a really sad story.
So we're going from a porn story. Is it connected?
Yeah, it's connected.
Oh, so it's a sad porn story.
Sad porn story. So there's a story, a real sad story about a guy who emailed him in about his porn party, and he had like this mansion. Everything had to be white. This like white rug. He wanted your one is like white nightgown dress, and she was sitting on the rug. And he had this really detailed about everything about the. I think he might even have the same actress. He knew the actress he wanted, and he said it was just him not to kill himself. She wanted to like, please don't kill yourself.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they did it for free, and they sent it to him. Like they're like, oh, and like apparently everyone was like super emotional when they were doing it. They never heard back from your man, but like, yeah, it was like super bad.
That's vicious.
Yeah, way to drop the mood, isn't it?
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, hope he's having a nice rest of your day. But yeah, we probably squeeze one more story in before the end of the show. So we'll go with maybe, I don't know. You can pick either a robbery story or the little pub. So these are both your stories.
Yeah, whichever. Like, well, there's 2 robbery stories.
Yeah.
Or there's 1 little pub story.
Well, what's the little pub story? We'll go to the little pub story.
So Little in Belfast are building a pub.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Okay.
They're building a pub like right beside the store.
Did they decide what? Did they say why they're building a pub?
No, I don't think they've actually officially announced it. It just, somebody copped, obviously, like freedom of information, all that bullshit. Somebody copped, they've applied for planning permission and a license for a public house.
Alright, I wonder if they're going to have knockoff beers. You know, like how Little and Aldi, they don't do Mars bars, but they do like a knockoff version of Mars bars.
They do like a caramel bar.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's just going to be like really cheap beer, and maybe it's to like try to compete with Witherspoons.
Yeah,
Wetherspoons.
It's
kind of weird.
Strange. I wonder what they're going to do there. Well, it's like there's like a little picture somebody has like the plan up online. Like it's actually going to be attached to the little shop. But it's going to be an off license as well. It's going to be an off license and a pub. Alright.
So yeah, I can understand the off license. Maybe like the whole party is like when you're doing like the shopping for the week, you can drop your husband off at the pub.
Brown Thomas do that.
There's a lot of places have like, they've just seating areas in pubs. So like while you're waiting for people to come back, you can just sit on these nice couches. But like, yeah, there's a lot of times like, I've went in shopping centres with people, and like they're just like, oh, I have to run into 2 shops, and you're like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna have a look around. I once did an entire fucking shop. I went on a shopping spree, like literally went on a shopping spree out of the blue. I was like, oh, I need these shorts. Oh, pair of jeans. Oh, get these pair of jeans. Went around. Had to still wait for over an hour. One item bought. I was like, I was like carrying 5 bags. I was like, what were you at? I went and got coffee. I have all these stuff, and you have one item.
That's the one thing that annoys me about going shopping.
Yeah,
like I'm the kind of person that goes, I need XYZ.
Yeah,
into the shop, XYZ. Out of the shop, go home.
Oh yeah, like if I'm going shopping like at all, and I don't do it online, which would be a surprise for me if I go into public to buy anything. Generally, shoes are the only thing I buy. I don't buy online, but even now I've started to buy shoes online. I literally have what I need in my head. Like I literally say, okay, I need jeans, this. Generally, like I do not go look around. I have what I need. Yeah. I go in and I get it. Like that day I went on shopping spree. The only day I went in and gone, I'll just have a look around.
Yeah, like something like, you know, if I'm out and whatever I need to get done, and
yeah,
fucking there's still time to kill. I go, I'm gonna just go for a wander.
Yeah,
it was kind of, I might buy something then out of boredom.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, I don't know how we got into shopping. It's a pub thing.
Yeah.
It's when you're start talking about shopping and your hatred of shopping, it's a good time to end the podcast. Anyway, even if we are quarantined next week, we will be back on Thursday. I know it's a Friday today, so we're not exactly on Thursday. We're a little bit late, but don't worry. We'll go back to everything's going back to normal now. Yeah. And we'll be back next Thursday with another Shite Talk show.
Yeah, see you later.
Quickly before we go, listeners, if you have any questions you want to ask us, so not just listen. We generally ask you to send in listener stories. maybe you want our hot take on a topic. Maybe you want to ask us a question. Message in all the various ways. So you can email at...
this is opening up a can of worms.
So you can email us at on shitalkpodcastshow@gmail.com. You can message us on Twitter at Shite Talk Show. Same on Facebook. You can message us there. Just type in Shite Talk Podcast Show on Instagram. You'll find us. And yeah, we are pretty much everywhere. You can get your message to us. And if you have a question for us, no matter how odd, strange, maybe your hot take on something, maybe you want to know if we do anything, we're not going to personally do something for you, but like if you want to know if we would do something that, and if you have any weird questions you want us to send them in, and we'll have like a listener section of our show.
Yeah, like weird,
like even like a little jingle,
stuff, yeah,
a listener
jingle.
Corner. On the Shite Talk Podcast Show. So yeah, send weird stuff, because it'd be kind of interesting to see what you want to ask us and kind of give a bit of feedback to us on weird things you want us to talk about. So yeah, do that before next week, or even if not the following week. We'll be promoting it anyway. Yeah, throughout the week.
We'll be shaking on
this. So get your questions in. I know sometimes we miss when people send us stories, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, so do that.
We'll check the messages more often
and send it in. And remember to subscribe wherever you listen to this, so you get regular updates of when the show is out. And talk to you then.
See you later.
Shut up and sit down.